A little water pistol used to be one way to beat the summer heat, but that was then. This is now the super popular Super Soaker. But who knew it would take a rocket scientist to come up with the idea? Here's John Berman with some fun in the sun.
It's a squirt gun so good, they call it super. So super it can spray more than 50 feet. So powerful it can drench a late-night audience. But the Super Soaker is more than just a child's toy. It's a tool of titanic transformation.
This gun's done some pretty amazing things for you.
Well, I guess that's fair.
For as long as he can remember, 60-year-old Lonnie Johnson has known one thing.
I wanted to be an engineer before I even knew what an engineer was. I was always curious to know how things worked inside.
He spent the 50s and 60s tinkering, toying, fixing anything he could, even building his own robot from scrap metal and family appliances, named Linux.
At the time, he was my alter ego.
This Lost in Space-inspired creation won him first prize at a state science competition. No small feat for a young African-American in then segregated Alabama.
Seems like my entire life I've been doing things that people have predicted couldn't be done.
After graduating Tuskegee University with a master's in nuclear engineering, he went on to a successful career for the government, split between the Air Force and NASA. But he had bigger dreams.
I thought to myself that, I have more to contribute.
But it was a trip to the bathroom in 1982 that changed everything. He was fiddling in the sink with one of his experiments when he accidentally shot a high-powered stream of water across the room.
And the stream of water was so powerful that the curtains in the bathroom were actually swaying in the breeze. At that moment, I decided to design a high-performance water gun.
Because the world needs a great water gun?
Actually, I said, I've been doing all this hard science stuff, and I said, what I can do is put the hard science stuff aside for a minute, do a water gun, make some money on that, and then I can go pursue my other ideas.
Sounds good, but selling it was tough. He shopped the gun around for 7 years with no success.
Along the way, there were lots of reasons to give up, but I always knew that it was a great product.
He kept the faith, even with 3 kids to raise, a marriage in tatters, and at one point facing debts of $600,000.
And that was really scary. I'm not a financial expert.
You were an expert knowing you're in big trouble.
That's right. I think I could figure that much out.
At last, in 1989, he took this prototype to the Laramie Toy Company in Philadelphia.
And I pumped it up and shot it across the conference room, and they said, wow.
You need the Super Soaker Extra Power 150.
It was nothing short of the greatest water gun the world had ever seen.
That's right. What do you want from me?
You remember the old kind, the meek single squirters you may have grown up with? The Super Soaker shoots further, faster, and in a furious, continuous stream. I decided to test it by challenging Lonnie to an old-fashioned duel.
One, two, three, draw! Oh, this is so unfair.
It hit the stores in 1990, and the Super Soaker was a near-instant, mega-colossal success.
Does this happen all the time in the toy business?
It's very, very, very rare that you get something like Super Soaker, where a person like Lonnie, one man can come in and create this invention and really reinvent a category.
I'm Chris Reed, and I'm a Super Soaker collector.
Seattle Boeing scientist Chris Reed is a lifelong fan.
I've got my inventory here. Each one is written down by model number. I've got the colors and the quantities all laid out. They span about 20 years of collecting, and I've got different models from each year.
His itemized arsenal of hundreds of Super Soakers rivals any toy store inventory.
My very first Super Soaker is probably my single most favorite, and I've got it autographed from Lonnie Johnson, the inventor of the first Super Soaker.
Do you remember your first royalty check?
Yes, I do. But I also remember the first big one. And I looked at it, and I had to stop. I sat down, and I realized that my life will never be the same.
How much was it for?
He doesn't want to tell you, but let's just say there were a lot of zeros on that check. But Lonnie did not sit on his money. He used the funds to fuel his dream, launching Johnson Technologies in Atlanta. It's his own award-winning lab with more than 30 employees and hundreds of patents. It's here that he's developing a lithium air battery that could power a car for 1,000 miles on a single charge, and a solar-powered engine that popular mechanics called a breakthrough.
How's it going, Joe? Good. All right.
Lonnie's Super Soaker has even transformed the lives of these students.
Boy, it works really well.
The man who once built his own robot in high school
You know, Lonix used compressed air, the original Lonix.
Right. The robot has
created a robotics lab for aspiring teen engineers. But perhaps the most surprising feat of the Super Soaker? Matchmaker. After Lonnie's first marriage ended in divorce, the Super Soaker helped him find a new love from the moment they met.
We started chit-chatting, and then he says, I bet you can't guess what I do.
I gave her one of my business cards, and on my business card it had the water gun, an atom, and a little symbol. And she saw the little gun on there, and she was with a friend at the time.
She whispers in my ear, he's an arms dealer.
They actually had a bet. So she wanted to see if I was really an arms dealer or not. And I guess you could say I'm one of the biggest arms dealers in the world.